Guys, check out the deal they got going on all this stuff. None of that stuff, but dang, I have to pay full price for this. I wish this stuff was decent, but it's not. That's probably why it's so cheap. Well guys, I just left Harbor Freight. I'm hoping that that was the last time I have to go there for this Samurai build. The garage is still a mess. I'm not that much farther along, but I just keep whittling away, trying to get down to bare metal on a lot of this stuff. And I had sprayed some undercoating on there a while ago, and got to get through all that to get it so that I can coat it with the rust reformer and then paint. Anyways, that side's basically good to go. I don't have my light. I painted it the other night, and now I've got dust all over it from doing other stuff out here, but still got to do these. You can kind of see what I'm working with over here. Just pulled that wheel off, and I'm getting the rust off these steering arms and stuff. But she's definitely coming along. It's just nothing that's worthy of like filming. And after I got like 6 or 7 days into this, then I'll probably lay the phone flat, aiming straight up, and drive over it to show you guys. It'll be at least 3 or 4 seconds worth of filming, so that'll be nice. So this has been like this since the day I got it. These seals were leaking when I got it, and I did a video on replacing these knuckle seals in here, and they've been holding up really good. It hasn't leaked a drop since I did that, but there was I re-greased them and stuff, but they were probably leaking like this for years and years, so I spent a lot of time on the other side getting this back down to just basically rust, and then eating away all the rust, and then coating it, and yeah, it's just very, very time consuming, and it's not very good video. So, and when I do time lapse, you know, it's so long that my phone would overheat, so I don't know, I don't figure this is very entertaining to watch, so I just don't film it. But I'll show you guys the end once it's done. Should look real good, hopefully. Maybe you guys do like watching this, I don't know. If you do, then come over and you can not just watch it, you can actually do it. I'll feed you a beer or two. I just made some blueberry muffins. Do you work for muffins? Probably not. And most of you guys are out of the country, so that would just be a whole logistical thing. I don't know. I guess I'll just do it myself. But thanks for offering. Alright, guys. Alright, much later. And we're almost down to bare metal. Nice, huh? This is all rust dust. But yeah, it's a lot of damn work just to get it down to something that's treatable. Oh man, what a Friday night. This is actually kind of fun. I didn't say that. I can't figure out if that's Y1E1-C, and also the date. I can't figure out if the year is 21 or if it's April 21st of like 92 or 02. I don't know. Anyway, is that important? Does that mean this thing was rebuilt, and is that like the gearing or anything, or I don't know. I'm gonna be covering that up because there's some rust here. I'm gonna get rid of that rust and kind of, I got that brake and wheel and everything done. So is this one over here. And I'm almost done with her. A couple other things up front and we'll be done. But anyway, I kind of didn't want to cover that up in case whoever buys it, you know, I don't know. I guess I could just direct them to this part of the video and I'll take a picture of it also. And I've already gone online. I can't figure. I typed in Suzuki Samurai front differential Y1E and then just to see what would come up, and nothing really comes up. So I was able to finagle this little piece of plastic out that goes below the fan right here, and it actually gives me a lot more access to clean a lot of different stuff and tidy up the underside here. So that's cool. Got a little bit of rust on this front frame piece here where that steering shock goes and things like that. So I was gonna try to get all that good, but this is just gonna help a lot. And I can probably paint this piece. It's not even that bad actually. I'm just gonna try to clean it up real quick, see how it looks. Well, this sucks. This thing has been tripping the main breaker. So we called the landlords and they have a company that's, it's like a property management thing where they have partners with lots of different companies, but we haven't heard anything. That was hours and hours ago. And I don't know what the deal is, but whenever the contactor trips, it blows the 60 amp breaker down at the breaker panel. It doesn't blow the fuses down here. There's fuses in this thing here. There's 2 fuses on each side. And these don't blow, but it's blowing the one down at the main breaker panel, which I don't understand. But we're getting some weather here, so I don't know. I was gonna leave it open for the technicians. I'm thinking this compressor, either the compressor or the fan is tripping it. I guess I could meter the fan. I think I'm gonna do that. See if it's shorted. 2 of the wires go to this capacitor, and then the other 2 go to either side of the contactor. So I metered a bunch of stuff, and it looks like the compressor windings are melted inside the compressor. At least that's all 3 short straight to ground, so at least that's what it looks like, that the windings are melted inside there. So anyway, they can't get out here. The company that, you know, subcontracts these people can't get out here until Wednesday. It's Monday right now, and it's 90 degrees in our house. So there is a wall unit for my roommate's bedroom, and I have this old AC deal that I bought years and years ago from Costco, and it worked. I mean, there's probably thousands of hours on this thing, and it worked great until this little squirrel cage thing kind of came apart. Well, I finally got this POS apart, and here is the squirrel cage that's broken. And the problem we had before, a couple of these broke out. Luckily I found one of them in the bottom, so I'm thinking I can, if I glue it back in here, then I'll just be missing 2. The problem with that is that it drastically throws this out of balance, and once this is out of balance and starts wobbling, then the corners of these hit the cage. So my question is, assuming I glue this one in there, can I just pop 2 out of this side and call it a day? Doing my little spin test here, It doesn't seem to be nearly as off balance. Let me show you what I did. It's pretty bad, but I think it'll work. So I just had the two missing side by side. And then when I counted around, I had 20 on this side and 20 on this side. So the 21st one, whichever way, either way you counted, number 21. So I broke that one out and I glued it right in between these two over here so that I have basically the weight of one missing on this side and one missing on this side. So I went on both sides of every single one. So she should be pretty damn strong now. It has a tiny wobble. I don't know. I'm just gonna really hope. I guess I super glued some paper towel to the bottom of this. That should, I did that, you know, to balance out the weight for it. Same with that scuff mark, it's all part of the balancing process to get it balls on accurate. So anyway, that's what professionals do. Do you think that's too many screws to have left over? Or do you think that's right about perfect? Because I know it's going to take a couple to get the covers on, but I might have a few extras here. Man, what a pain in the ass that is to get lined up. Not a very good design, but check it out. I don't have any screws left. Crazy. I'm gonna go plug it in and see if she turns on. It looks like I lied. This magnet on my light had 3 screws stuck to the bottom of it, but those don't count. So am I even gonna be able to plug her in? Yeah. Hey, I heard a beep. Let's see. Power. Well, that wasn't good. No. Looks like I'm gonna sweat my ass off tonight. Alright, what went wrong? Let's see here. That was really freaking loud. Probably woke up the whole neighborhood. Come on, stop spinning. Alright, it looks like my zip tie did not hold up because I have part of it in my freaking hand here. So why did it do that? So maybe now that the zip tie's not on there, it'll be okay? I don't know. No. Because I'm missing. It's that one that I glued in right there. What the frick? Okay, let's see if there's any other missing ones. Just the one, right? Yeah, just the one that I cut out. Okay, so we're only missing one. You guys can kind of see how dark it is. I changed my mind. I'm going to leave the Samurai in here for one more night before I throw the wheels back on and pull it out. I tried to get a good shot with my little sled creation here, but I think it'll be a lot better in the daylight. So I'm hoping the Jeep will be okay one more night. parked out here. And that'll give me more time right now to work on this, because it's going to take a while. However, now I know how it comes apart, so it shouldn't be nearly as bad. But man, there was a lot more parts than I thought. 3 blades flew off, and this is what's left of that damn zip tie. This is the other end of that same zip tie, and I thought, you know what, sometimes these things dry out a little bit. So I decided to like bend it in half, and it bends no problem, so that's not it. So with this piano wire here, this is kind of what I'm thinking. I folded it back onto itself. I know it's really hard to see, but if I do that on both sides and I can get the right diameter to where it's like a collar, and then slide it down just a little tiny bit, hopefully that would give it enough tensile strength to keep the squirrel cage from expanding and letting these fingers fly off. I don't know if this is a good idea or a bad idea. I wish I had some like tape or something, that, because we used Gorilla Tape before and it kind of worked for a few days, but then it ended up getting hot, and then the glue, the adhesive was like melting, and then it was, yeah, anyway. But something with like reinforcement, like threads or something, that's what made me think of this. So, and I'm thinking if I could do multiples of this. I don't know, these are probably terrible ideas, but I don't really know what other resources I have to be able to use. So I do also have some carbon fiber, just raw, you know. This is how carbon fiber is before you apply the epoxy to it or whatever. So it's flexible, and the strands are really strong. I mean, you'd slice your hand in half trying to pull on this stuff. Can't remember what I was doing with this mess of stuff. I was pulling out the end. Oh, that's what I was going to do. I thought it would be really, really cool to make a checkerboard out of twill that was like, you know, you can see how small this twill is. It's like 1/8 of an inch or whatever. But imagine if that was expanded out and you had a checkerboard with actual carbon fiber. Wouldn't that be sweet? I think that's what I was trying to pull these individual strings out, but then to get them all flat and lined up next to each other would be really hard. But I probably could, if I had a good way to adhere it to there, I could wrap this around it, a couple strands, and that would hopefully keep it from the centrifugal force, like letting those fingers fly out. But I don't know, I'll probably try the piano wire first and see if that works. Alright guys, so this is what I did. Put the piano wire around the outside. I kind of made like a loop, you can see right there. I bent it back on itself from both directions, and kind of made like a loop, slid it down over it, and then attached it on every single deal with the baking soda and super glue. So God, I hope this works and I can get some air conditioning tonight. So I'm gonna put it back together, hopefully, and try to test it. Alright guys, I got it over here like in front of the refrigerator. You can see my wire there. As far as balancing it, it wanted to balance with the heaviest spot where the bolt in the center goes. So I guess that bolt is the heaviest in there. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a bolt at the very top at the end of my finger right there. That bolt with that screw in, anytime I tried to balance it, that ended up at the bottom. So I guess it's negligible, the rest of it. So I don't know. So I got it facing the other direction. It's plugged in behind the deep freeze. I'm gonna be over there and I'm gonna set my camera in here, so if there's any shrapnel or carnage, hopefully you guys should have a good shot at it. So I'm gonna shut the garage though, and then I'll run around over there and fire it up. Just gonna kind of hide behind here. Here goes nothing. No way. It hasn't exploded yet. Cold air hitting me in the face. Oh my gosh. Dirt. This is 93 degrees. Well, I might go ahead and put the back on. It's probably going to explode in the middle of the night when I'm asleep, but that's okay. Better than before, so I'm happy. Closed the garage because I didn't want the neighbors to hear it explode, but sweet. Alright, I'm going to slap it back together. Well, I'm sure you guys saw earlier in the video, which was last night for me. Got that air conditioning working after messing with it for 2 days. And it worked, but it would only oscillate, it would only cycle on at about 87, and then it cut down to 83, and then it would turn off. The fan would stay on, but it would stop. The air conditioning, like the compressor and stuff, would stop. So, and then so I haven't slept much the last couple days, but it's just been miserable. And now it was like cycling on at like 91 degrees, and then getting down to like 89 or something. I don't know. So I just bit the bullet, went down and bought this at Home Depot because I gotta get cooled off. This is ridiculous. Anyways, that's where I'm at. It sucks. I don't have air conditioning in here still. Haven't even had time to mess with the Jeep. I don't know what it is lately, but nothing's been going right. I'm sure everyone can relate. Hey guys, it's another day. I don't even know where this video is. It's so all over the place. I just don't even know where to go. But last night I finally fixed this, and I put so much stuff on it. Hopefully it won't break because there's a lot of lateral force on it. I can't reinforce it inside at all, so anyway, I'll try to just be careful with it and stuff, but at least now I can get some other shots. I did have my thing that I was going to do the other day. I wanted to grab this guy and put some lights on it and use this as kind of like a sled. I'm going to tape some lights on it and drag it underneath so we can get a good undershot before I pull it off the jack stands and stuff. So I'm going to get that set up. Alright, I'm going to try to shove this down to the end there. Oh, nice. I guess I pulled off a little too much rope, didn't I? Okay. Now, I will turn these lights on. The other night when I was trying to do this, it just got too dark too quick. So, turn that guy on, turn that guy on, and I'm going to go ahead and set this down. And enjoy the ride, guys. I want to get this thing back out of the garage. Before I put the wheels on, I want to touch some stuff up on there, but I don't want to bore you with that. I did want to do a quick
troubleshooting on the electrical part of an AC system on a vehicle, in case you guys have this issue. So in my case, that's not my problem, but I'm going to go through it with you real quick. Just super simple. So like I said, in my case, mine somehow overnight, all the fluid leaked out. And it happened to be the first night I parked this thing outside the garage. So I think I actually checked that one before, but yeah, that's usually where I would start because that is probably the simplest thing to check. Just make sure you still have Freon. Okay, so and you'll know your specific vehicle, but when you turn your AC on, you should hear it click, and the compressor should engage. And let me show you what I mean by that. Okay, so it's kind of hard to see. That's power steering. It's the one below that. So you can see that one down there. You see how the outside part is spinning, but the inside part is not? That's like a clutch. And there's a switch. If you're too low on Freon, that will not engage and start spinning. So, but that could very easily be electrical. So let's troubleshoot and find out why that clutch is not kicking. I mean, in this case, we know why it's not kicking on because there's no Freon, so it's like a safety thing. But what you would normally do is find your fuse panel, and I can't remember. Let's see what we got here. We do have a relay right here, AC clutch, and that's 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So what you could do, the one right above that is the starter. So you could literally, it's already running, so I don't need the starter one. So I could take this relay, since we know it's good, I just started the vehicle, and you could put that in there if you do it the right way. And if that was working, we would have heard it click, and it would have started spinning right now. And you can see it is still not spinning. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that back. These bugs are getting to me. Oh, I guess they flip-flop every other one, that's why. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and leave this out for a second. The other way let me show you another way to check your relay. If you don't have like a spare one that you can just pop in that's a known good, you can go ahead and bypass it. And when you're looking at a relay, let's see, we've got all those things, 87A, 87, 85. On the right hand side, that 85 and 86, that is the coil of the relay. That's what activates the relay. And then 87 and 30 on the left, on the middle, and then the bottom is what would actually close together when you push the button and this coil activates. It's an electromagnet. It sucks that little flap together. I did a whole video on this before. But over here, that little arm that looks like a windshield wiper, when this energizes, it's an electromagnet and it sucks that little arm over. And so instead of 30 being connected to 87A, 30 would then be connected to 87. So you don't even always have a pin for that, but let's see here. So that's going to be these two big guys right there. And that's going to be the heavier gauge. So I'm going to get a little jumper wire and just put it in between those two, and we'll see if we can get the clutch to kick on. All right, so I got a little jumper wire here. Jam that little filler in there, and then should hear a click. Okay, so I just heard the click. Okay, now you see the clutch is actually spinning, and that's what it would do normally when you push that AC button on the inside, if the relay and all that good stuff is working. So now I come in here and it's still blowing hotter than hell. So I know in my case I have no Freon, so I'm not gonna, you don't want to do that for too long because that's a safety feature. That's why it doesn't let it turn on. But the other thing you can check on these is the fuse. Okay, so if your AC clutch is not engaging, probably the first thing you'd want to, I'm doing this out of order, but probably the first thing you'd want to do, I know we just did the relay, but the first thing you'd probably want to do is the fuse. So there it is right there. It's the upper right one, which would be that guy right there. And there's a bunch of different ways you can check a fuse. So a lot of people will visually check it, which you always want to do that probably. So that little wafer thing, that little bump in the middle that goes in between from the left to the right, if you visibly see that that's broken, then you know you got a blown fuse. That's all it is. It's literally just a piece of wire, a link from one side to the other. And pretty much every fuse that I've ever seen, they give you a piece of metal on the outside of the fuse that you can probe with like a tool. So I'm going to show you a couple other ways other than visually how you can check them, because I have seen cases where they look perfectly fine, but they're not. They're actually got like a tiny little separation in there that you just can't see. So let me show you several other ways, depending on what tools you have, that you can check your fuse. Alright guys, so one way to check, if you have a multimeter, you can put it on ohms, the little horseshoe symbol. And all you want to do, if you can't remember anything else, you just want for the screen to say the same thing that it says when you touch the two leads together, because that means you know you got a connection. So see how it says 0.2 ohms, 0.3, 0.1. A dead short is 0 resistance, and that makes sense. There's no resistance between the two. You're always going to see a little bit because of the resistance in the leads themselves. But anyway, so you could take your fuse and probe each side, and you should get, if it's a good fuse, you should get roughly the same as with your leads, so 0.2. So we know that's a good fuse. But if you don't have a meter, which a lot of people don't, I mean, you can get one for $5 at Harbor Freight, but a lot of people will maybe have a test light, which I've never used this one, but I'll go ahead and check it. So you could do negative or positive. So I'll just hook this to the negative side. Try to. And then, trying to keep this. Let me just do it on there, okay? So I'm just gonna touch one pole to the other side and see how it lights up. That means we know we've got a good connection going through here. Because if it was open, I wouldn't have a connection, right? So I hope my fat fingers are out of the way. Let me do that one more time. So I'm only touching it with one side, and then with my test light. So we know that it's going through there. So that's another way to test. And then if you maybe have, which you probably don't, because I never had one of these till real recently, but one of these, what are these called? I forget what they're called, but you could do the same thing. Let me plug it back in. You guys see? Okay. You can check one side. See how, this is a retake because it was out of frame, but you can see the light right here. Got a red light on that side and a red light on that side. Now if you had a bad fuse, you'd have a red light on one side but not on the other side. So it's a good way to go through and check your fuses. They're not all going to have power on them. Usually if you turn your ignition on, most of them will have power on them, but like this one has ground on it. But anyways, pretty handy way to check. Handy, quick way to check without having to pull the fuses out. So. My maiden voyage. Just gonna take it down to the convenience store. Here, I'll stop in the same spot that I did before so you can hear the difference. Okay, it's in neutral. That's with the clutch out. That's in, out. To me it sounds about the same. So, in my book, the little groove that was worn into mine, in my book it says that that is like excessive wear, and I'll try to insert a picture here to show you what I'm talking about. So I guess technically, you know, if a mechanic were to look at it, they would have probably said, yeah, it needs to be replaced, but I don't know, probably could have gone another 20,000 miles on this clutch, or 50, who knows. I think I need to lower the pedal height a little bit because it's supposed to start out at the same as the brake, but it's not. So anyway, I'll do that when I get back to the house. Wow. That's underneath where the jack stands were. That's a little better. Enough to pull the Jeep in. Alright guys, I'm looking at the book here, and it says clutch pedal, the height for the Samurai should be level with the brake pedal. And then here it says clutch pedal height is adjusted by loosening the lock nut behind the pedal bracket and turning the adjusting bolt. So that's what I'm going to look at. All I see up there is a spring, so let's follow that through here. Alright, right there. So that little shaft has splines on it, and then this nut you see clamps down on it. So I guess you loosen that nut and then should be able to move that. So I'm going to try to do that. Alright, so it's a 12 millimeter. I guess if I push this in, I can actually it's really clamped on there, so I think I'm going to remove the bolt so I can jam a screwdriver in there from the bottom, and we'll see if it wants to come out. Come on, baby. And not like this really needs to be done. I bet 99% of people have never adjusted this. Okay, and then I could put a big flat screwdriver in there. So let me go get a huge one. So I took that bolt completely out and then got my pry bar in there like this and twisted left and right, so it kind of did that, and then I actually pushed down on the clutch pedal and pulled up on this to spread it. And so when you push on it, you can see it's actually moving in there. So anyway, I'm going to put that bolt back in and she should be adjusted. I'm sure nobody's ever going to actually do this unless yours is way off. Mine was not way off. It was only, I don't know, a little bit above. That's about as close as I think we're going to get. I think it was about like that before. So anyway, so that's as close as I can get it. So I'm going to tighten that nut back on there. So I'm going to go ahead and throw this door panel back on. Hopefully she doesn't interfere with the window. It's been rolling up and down good. Not that I've been driving it a lot, but we'll see if all those 20 screws being on there affects the way it rolls up and down, I guess. Alright guys, I really appreciate you watching. I know apologize for this video being so all over the place, but that's just kind of how it's been in my life the last week or two. So, alright guys, thank you again. Take care.